Brinca, buenas tardes, buenas noches, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Nachin and Friends. This week, it's a week that caught us with realness to life, and that is our topic tonight. We're going to be talking about growing pains. In Spanish, madurar, cómo aprender de la vida, cómo entender la vida como una perspectiva de adulto. And we're not here to teach you any moral handsets or anything like that. We're basically just talking to you about what we're going through as human beings, as two individuals, myself and my producer Charlie, that's on the line. And we're connecting a little bit late, and I apologize because it was my bad. Usually we connect every Friday night at 8 p.m., but this week was a little bit hectic. But you know what? That's part of being an adult, that you got to roll with the punches to make it happen. So without further ado, thank you. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us. You're watching at home, you're watching at work, wherever you may be, or wherever you may be watching in the future. We send you good vibes, and we aim to bring you something that's going to make you think, something that's going to make you feel a little bit different, and I guess help you grow. And it has helped us by talking to other people and learning from our elders. And we don't by any means say we're any type of professional, but we are two individuals that live through life, that have friends who also might want to join the show. I talked to Rick, but without further ado, let me introduce Charlie, and then we're going to get into the topic of this week, which is growing pains and madurar. Welcome, Charlie. ¿Cómo estás?
Hey, good night, Gene. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well, brother. Thank you for making it, and thank you for being there as a trooper, as a producer, as a co-host, and jumping in when needed to be and pushing the ship forward, because as we know, life gets on the way, correct?
It does. And hey, you know what? It's you live and learn.
Live and learn. And
buddy.
how was your week, bro?
Hey, man, my week has been interesting in all aspects. At work, thank God there's work. I'm not gonna complain.
Amen. Amen. Amen, brother.
But yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna complain. I'm not, but going through the week and thinking about the topic, it has opened my eyes a lot to a couple of things that, as a parent, I want to start teaching my kids, set them up for success. That's it.
For reality, no, I would say more or less. That's our topic this night, this afternoon, this evening, whatever you want to call it, this week. And Charlie and I really kind of come up with the topics during the week. We feel each other, not literally, but sentimos como está la vibra y le tiramos. So esta semana queremos hablar because it's a tough topic, because it involves personal care. It involves personal responsibility. And a lot of us are not ready for that. I went through it until I kind of started chipping at that maturity level, where you need to be a different individual. Not necessarily to stay stagnant, but to move forward in different stages. And that's going to be the basis of our topic tonight. We're going to be talking about the stages that go through the process of growing up as an individual, personal experiences and facts that we've gathered, our producer Charlie put together. And we're going to be talking about the reality in today's times, what it takes to be an individual, what it takes to be successful in today's times, that is tougher than ever, because we're going through, a lot of people would call this a mental crisis, because it's a paradigm shift. COVID-19 revolutionized the world. Black Lives Matter movement. We have social unrest. We have so many layers, but at the same time, you still have to coexist. So how do you deal with it? Well, we're going to be talking about that. Charlie, thank you for bringing this topic up. If you don't mind me, if you give me a few minutes, I'd say a minute and a half, I want to read a story. Well, not a story, but something that was in my mind throughout the week when I started thinking about this topic, what it really meant to me inside. And hopefully it makes sense. If it doesn't, it's just my random thoughts going through. Are you ready for that or no?
Let's hear it, buddy.
He says, mejor no digas ni madres, cabrón, hay que hablar de otra cosa. No, here we go. Really quick. And then before we go into the topic, I definitely want to analyze what happened during the week. And then kind of do the ensalada with the week's events. And then go into the main plato. Después de eso, yeah, so, si me das permiso, le entro, Charlie?
By all means, buddy.
Okay.
Go ahead.
This is what was going through my head this past week as I was writing this topic. Immaturity versus maturity inside one's head. It's the biggest rival to change within. All of us face it at different levels of our lives and throughout our personal line of history. Most of us fight it because we fear the outcome of the unknown possibility. But the cure to it is simple. Be ready to face the piper and deal with it. Whatever you're facing in life that is hurting you, that is preventing you from being happy, face it and put action into it. Most just run through it being led by a puppet master. Somebody that might control their thoughts, somebody that might provoke those feelings of agony, those feelings of being lost, those feelings of feeling depressed. So many layers to it, right? It could be, the puppet master could be significant other, work, church, friends, and loved ones without them even knowing. TV and everyday social life aspects also play a key role in this whole vibe because every day is a different story, right? Most do not want to live at it as that signifies that one must change directions of their current. Meaning like you have to be a different person. Most of us fear change. We fear it because we don't know the outcome. We don't know how to get there. And I guess fear to me is like a mental timeout. It's like us being stagnant within a thought and not wanting to progress because we don't know and we want to be lazy. So we waste time occupying our minds with different ideas of what it is. But it's until we find out that it takes action to be to the next level. And sometimes in order to get to that level of pushing yourself to do action, life has to kick your ass a few times. And it's okay. But those were not the instructions that we got when we were kids, right? It was a different world. As we were growing up, if you were lucky enough to be in a loved environment, whether it was poor, whether it had money, whether it didn't, the idea is that you must have lived in a place where you felt loved. Innocence, a place where nobody would tell you how bad the world really was out there. And but I mean bad, I don't mean like, oh, it's off or anything like that, but I mean like so different from the image that you had of the fantasy that it was a perfect world, that it was a Cinderella story, that you would get one day, you do this, you're going to get to do this. It's a different time, and we're facing a different monster of times and of expression and of being. And I think it's a revolutionary time in the mind and in the being, and throughout history and throughout human nature. I think it's that point where we're really forced to change, and if we don't jump on it, hey buddy, you're falling off the boat. So let me continue and finish up with this, Charlie, so we can get going. It's until you open your eyes that one becomes a wise person, but many fail to see that is that within a fall one can find bounce and back up. And if you manage your mind enough to steer it in the right direction, you might not get stuck in the middle. Getting stuck in the middle is when you're just looking at life as one dimension. You're just there. Like, I'm sure you have friends, tienes amigos, amigas que son personas que toda su vida, por ejemplo, usaron el pelo de una manera, se quedaron en su era when they thought that was cool. And that's okay, that's great. Pero ahorita ya estamos viendo unos momentos que la vida te está forzando, like for instance, like guys, our age group, they call us chavorrucos, young guys that are not old but are becoming men to an extent at that level, but we're not señores, like serious enough, but we're like kind of still goofy, but at the same time we're like serious about the matter. But I don't know if it makes sense, Charlie. But to conclude, when one opens up to the other being, let me conclude because I have more thoughts, but like I said, these are just random thoughts, but I want to share them and speak about them sincerely because I feel like this show, that's what's going to make, I guess, the difference in me in delivering, because I feel like I don't want to come across as somebody that is trying to sell you something, because that's not what I'm trying to do with this show. To me, this show is leisure, it's pleasure, it's enticing. It's like a class that I do with a great friend next to me, Charlie, and other friends that come on board time to time. And to me, I feel like we bring this on to each other. We're kind of like taking ourselves to another level of acceptance of not being the same stagnant individuals that don't want to change and just want to do things the only way we know how, because we're too lazy to put action into making a change to feel better and to make others feel better. I feel like a lot of people in life walk with a broken heart or with a hard heart because they've been broken. But it's until you surpass that broken moment that you realize that that was just an instance, that was just a moment in time where you got lost. And it's until then that you find yourself and really see that that was just an episode. You got to continue. So, like I said, life is short and it's a trip. We must not take it so serious and rather loosen up and navigate it to be in the best possible way that your heart dictates. But it's not easy. It takes discipline and effort. But in order to get there, one must navigate through within and to search for the guts to say no to anything else that your well-being of being inner happy by doing what you love, by following your heart. So you see, it's just spinning words, but what I guess trying to say in that phrase is find within your heart that voice that makes you happy. To me, what makes me happy is doing this show every week and having the support of people that are watching, people that help me, and somehow we move forward together. So Charlie, with that being said, you want to digest this topic right after we go into the quick news?
I would love to, man. And hey,
Okay.
great job on that. That was amazing.
Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, Charlie. Le estamos echando como Sabludowski. Aún no hay más, cabrón. All right, guys. Well, welcome. Le estamos poniendo diferentes toques al show because we want to give you quality every week. We want to give you realness. We want to bring you things that are really palpitándonos en el corazón. Y pues, Charlie, ¿qué palpitó toda esta semana? What happened? Tell me, bro.
Bro, this week was an eventful week once again, as it has been for the last 3 months. You know.
Jesus, we've been living in the apocalypto, huh?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But one of the biggest ones this week, at least for me, you know, I mean, besides it's the big Trump defeat. You know, the Supreme Court blocked Trump's from ending the DACA and the big win for Dreamers. You know,
it's crazy because
a big win.
These kids had been fighting for years to get somewhere, and finally it's happening. Like there is a change. I didn't see it. I didn't see it coming, especially with the way things are. I never thought this would happen, but I guess all the protests are really making, you know, some sound in there.
It's making an impact. It's making an impact even on the Republicans. Chief Justice John Roberts was the one that swung the vote 5-4.
Damn.
He's a Republican.
He said, "Vámonos."
So, vámonos, and it proves to you that you do what's right. You know, do what's right. And don't put aside your political party, your political BS. Do what's right.
And it's right because think about it. These individuals are not trying to steal. They're rather trying to become better individuals and more productive members of the society. And I think the name of this great nation says it all. United States. We are united individuals. We might all be different. We might all think differently. But at the same time, we have one common cause, which is we're coexisting in this society in today's time. So I think it's a great plus. Awesome. What else?
Yeah, absolutely. The other one was, and this one's sad as well. Are these Army reservist, Army young lady, Guillen? She still keeps missing. Just a couple hours ago, I read an article where they found a body. Possible it was her. Ooh. If people don't know the story, it's pretty sad. This young lady serving our country was being sexually harassed by her sergeant. Oh. She told her mom. Mom said, "You know what? You should go and report her." She said, "No, I'll get in trouble. There's gonna be repercussions." This and that. Yeah, exactly. And sure enough, she told her mom. A couple of days later, she went missing. She's been missing for a couple of weeks.
Oh man!
So prayers out to that family. Yeah,
it's amazing that you know what. In today's times, we still see horn dogs, vatos calientes that cannot control themselves and are this, I guess, twisted that they're like, vámonos, hacer un desmadre by all means. If she's not mine, she's not going to be anything. I don't know who did it. I don't know if it was some other situation, but if you go down this path, you know, of assumption, that could be something. But still, whoever did it, and hopefully it's not her, but if it is, you know, God bless her soul and her family. May they get peace. And man, crazy times, right? Crazy times that we're living. Like reality is like hitting us in the face. Like people are just devouring each other, man.
And it all goes back to the same topic we've been touching the last couple of weeks. You know, a power of abusive power. You know, she was higher ranked than he was, and he felt he had the power over her,
Man.
and we see it day by day.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, these cops still don't get the point, and
Well, I heard
there's more
that
killings.
the
There's more.
cops, if you want to go a little tangent on that one, I heard that the cops want to protest on July 4th in New York. They want to go on strike. My friend Rick was telling me that they want to go on strike
Well,
and not work to show the citizens to see if they really need them. And some say, conspiracy theorists say, yeah, they're going to let everybody go loot and make craziness in the city and destroy it. And that's when we're going to have civil war, blah, blah, blah. But other people are saying, no, you know what? Let's look at it in a positive way. Esta cosa puede ser positiva porque, you know what? We're going to show society that we are a united society. So who knows? It's like crazy times. The way things are going, you wake up the next day, you don't even know what you're going to wake up to. Right now, the only thing you can do is try to stay safe and navigate these hard waters, man.
and stay positive. That's it,
¿Qué más, Charlie? Échale la sopa. A ver.
bro. There's a lot. I'm getting goosebumps thinking
¿Qué
about the
pasó?
next one.
A ver.
As a parent, the WHO, the HOW, the World Health Organization, just launched a new program where they're going to introduce to, I believe it's England and Africa, that to show little 4-year-old children that it's okay to practice masturbation. Yeah, that one touches my heart big time, bro. Like, no, like that's not right. Like, this is a point where we have to put our minds to it and see who's really running the who. This is a point where they want to desensitize from children, desensitize them from what's wrong, what's right, and that one I'm taking personal. I have children, you have
Oh,
children,
man.
and it's like no.
You know how it seems like when I was talking earlier when we did the introduction about how we were raised in a time where we were innocent. We didn't find out about the birds
Yeah.
and the bees till we learned in school from our friends and stuff like that. But for this to happen, I understand the naturalists that say, you know what, it's okay, find your body. But I think there's a limit where kids need to be innocent to enjoy those moments.
Yeah.
Because once you involve sexuality, you're creating that urge to reproduce, that urge to feel different. And I don't know, I think if we go in that direction of just because of a feeling, I don't know. I'm really, really contradicted on this one because, man,
I'm
for
I'm
adults,
dude.
it's
I mean,
cool, but I mean, for kids, I don't know, man. Let them be
4 years
kids.
old, bro.
Let them be
My kid,
kids.
our 4-year-old can't even write their own name, bro.
Yeah,
Let
man.
alone experience something like that. So I mean, that's a whole different
Yeah,
topic,
that's something
and that
else.
we can go ahead and get into. But I'm not gonna bring it up right
Okay,
now. I mean, I brought it
what
up,
else?
but
What else,
because it
Charlie?
touched me. But
What's popping? One last
well,
one. What you got?
the last one that I'm really, really sad about is all these concerts being postponed till next year.
Pinche Charlie. You just want to
I'm
be a hood and go show off the mini faldas, huh? Go to the dance floor.
not even,
Tiring, tiring. What kind of concerts will you go
no,
to
not even.
when everything was normal?
I
Jamon
I
Ayala?
love music. I love music.
Or what do you like, rock?
You know what? I went to Intocable. I went to
Órale.
Héroes de Silencio.
Órale.
So, I mean, I love music, and music is my passion. But this whole COVID-19, I get it, it's for safety and all
Yeah.
whatnot. But music is soul, man.
Yeah.
Everybody, I don't care. You say, I don't like music. You like some type of music.
A lot of artists are doing the virtual concerts, but it's not the same as feeling the
It's not
vibe,
the
bro.
same.
That's like being with everybody that's in the same mindset, and it's a wild out because you don't know if a pinche borracho is gonna get you. A drunk guy that's too crazy in one of his songs, remembering an ex, is gonna come and get you with the bottle because you remind him of the guy that took the chick. Man, but it's that rush of going to the concerts. The last concert I went to, what was it, dude? I don't remember. It's been that long that I've gone out, but
Oh,
man, I do miss them too. I miss them, and I don't know. Now you got me into
The last
thinking
one
about
that I
music.
went to, no, yeah, dude. I mean, the last one that I went to was Sublime in Rome. That was awesome.
Man,
Before that, I went to the Maná concert, and I got the privilege or the blessing to take my little kids.
oh,
So they were all, yeah, they loved it.
it's because Maná, you can't go wrong, Maná. Aunque
Oh,
it's the
you
same
can't.
songs over and over, you still like them, because you're like, pues todos a por una pinche chela, una michelada. Véngase. But it's a
Me
great
vale, me
band.
vale.
It's a great
Yeah.
band. I want to go see a Paisa concert. I've been thinking about I would like to go see El Pinche Fantasma, but I'm like, nah, esa raza está pesada. Llegas ahí en... Te dan un madrazo, un cabrón, y ahí quedas a la chingada. Pero no, tengo ganas de ir a ver El Fantasma, one of those artists.
You know what though? I'm actually surprised. My brother's a big fan of Fantasma. He's gone to concerts and he shot video of the concert. And dude, se miran tranquilos.
Man,
I mean,
that's good.
so
Because I remember when I was growing up and I would go to like the Paisa concerts and I would go like to places like El Farallón, El Parral. That was like hardcore dog pound, You would go in there and everybody was a mafioso and you're like, dude, okay, we're navigating with sharks. Let's do this. But once you look at it from a far perspective and you grow out of it and you're like, man, que pendejo estaba. I almost got killed by being in the wrong place at the wrong time. God really cared for me, man. But it's those things that make you think, but that's good that things are happening better. So hopefully we get to go to it. I got to experience to be close to the company that manages him back when I had a project with Pete Salgado. He was my manager for a couple of months and great individual, rest in peace, it's in heaven. But he exposed me to that world, to that artist, and it was a great experience, and it's a beautiful experience to be, like you said, in an environment where you feel the energy of the person, So that's concerts. Enough, let me shut up and let's go into the topic of today, which is, Charlie?
Which is adulting.
Adulting.
Growing up, maturing. Yeah.
Preparados estamos, ladies and gentlemen, hablando de ser adulto, madurar. ¿Quién eres? Who are you? Wow, what is that? What is being an adult? Does it mean that I have to be a jerk? Does it mean that I have to be serious? Does it mean that I have to act different amongst everybody? And does it mean that I don't have to care what they think? Does it mean that I'm some sort of weirdo and crazy person that doesn't care anymore? Or what? What is really being an adult? Charlie and I have discussed this briefly a little bit throughout the week, but we wanted to digest it together and bring you facts that Charlie has found, and along with it, personal experiences. Madurar para muchos es lo más difícil en la vida porque es el cambio, es de ponértelos de allá y decir, sabes que los tengo bien puestos y tengo que tomar una responsabilidad. And some of us don't want to do it. I see it, Charlie. I see that in today's times we have a lot of baby adults. And I'm not going to point out the millennials, the X's, the Z's, X-Gen, none of the generations. I'm just going to say in general because I get to deal with people that are even older and behave still like little spoiled brats. And I say, well, when it's enough, are you mature when you value others? Are you mature when you're not an a-hole? Are you mature when you try to be a good person? Are you mature when you have more money? Are you mature when you pay your bills? I'm confused, Charlie. So many layers to the cake. What do you got? I mean, you found research on it. ¿Qué salió ahí?
I found a lot of them. I saw a lot of funny ones where it did open my eyes. And I found a few where I wished I would have learned when I was in school.
Okay.
But to piggyback on what you said, I mean, my personal perspective on becoming an adult, becoming mature, is not about, oh, I have to stop joking around, or I have to stop this, or I have to stop that. I think it's more about having an open mind and wanting and learning. It's more of a learning process instead of just sticking to your own mind. If you recall, being a youngster, it was your way or the highway, no matter what, I think. What do
you think is that kicker that kicks in and tells you, "Hey, wake up! You're not a kid anymore." Is it the fact that your parents tell you have to get a job and you have to pay bills? Is it the fact that you impregnate somebody and you have to now support that family? What makes you an adult, or what is that ticking point that breaks that cocoon into reality for you to realize that, you know what? Life is not as they painted it. It's not all about hot Cheetos and watching TV and being on the phone and hanging out with my friends, drinking, which is great. I went through that stage and I loved it. Right now, I just look back to it, Charlie, and I feel like, man, I was surfing through life. Going back to the idea of the clubs, we would go to the craziest places, knowing that they were the craziest places, but that was a thrill. And we got away with it because I guess we just wanted to be good and we wanted to be people that were having fun, right?
It's funny that you mentioned that. I remember my parents telling me you have to get a job, and I still wanted to party. So what I ended up doing, I joined the street team.
Oh
We go
yeah, the
promote a
radio.
nightclub.
Yeah, you would go for free, and then that was a smart one, and you
Yeah.
you you were get all the perks, right?
Hey, I'm gonna go work, mom. Voy a trabajar.
Okay, so
But I mean,
this is like the I guess the top layer as we're going through it, Charlie, and I think
right.
when it comes to it, at the end of the day, some people say they mature at their own pace, others mature faster. The culture that we come from, the Latino culture, is very known for being very mature from the get-go because reality hits us at a young age. Why? Because I would say a good 80%, 90% of the Latino cultures, we don't come from a lot. We come from generations of past people that have fought to have something. They could have been peasants. They could have been, warriors, o sea, personas que pelearon en la independencia, en las revoluciones. They could have been ranch people, very simple people. But right now, we're living in a time where that is seen as being stupid, being ignorant. If you're nice to others, people see you as less. So that can be a culture shock when you're really trying to simulate yourself with being mature and saying, you know what, I'm doing the right thing versus I'm fitting in. ¿No crees, Charlie?
Absolutely. I think the whole I think I see it from where I grew up around a lot of older people than I was. My friends were older than me
Yeah.
for the most part. And in the sense that they were older, when I was 18, most of my friends were in their 30s, and
Wow.
they had a machista mentality.
Right.
The kitchen is for women. I work, but as I grew older, con mis parents, somos four guys. My dad is five. My mom by herself, only woman. And then on that side, my dad would be like, "Hey, your mom is not your maid. You have to pick up after
So he will
yourself.
pick
You
you
have to
up. He will
clean."
get you on
Yeah.
it.
Oh yeah. My dad made it a point to let us know that my mom was not una criada. Donde decía, tú vas a recoger, tú vas a limpiar, tú. I was like,
And
okay.
then at night he would go
And
hug her and tell her, ¿ves, vieja? Te tengo cuatro cabrones que te limpian la casa. ¿Qué más quieres? What else you want? You say I don't love you. Ay, hijo de la
no, and even at that, I feel, and that's what I was going to. Even at night, even at that, I still feel. And now thinking about it, we weren't mature because we still would rely on my mom for everything.
Right, like, hágame un huevo con
Yeah.
chorizo, ama, or something on a Saturday morning. And,
Yeah,
but
it's like
it's
I
in
was
the
right there
culture.
next to.
It's in the culture that they want to
It
have
is.
us as babies. And that's beautiful because I think the Latino culture is one of the ones that shares that the most, like the babies. Like, we baby our
Nursing.
kids so
Yep.
much. And that's beautiful because, but even up until today, like my chick tells me, you're spoiled. You're a chiquiado. And I know I am. I'm the last one of 8 brothers and sisters. And I love it
Wow.
because I get love from all of them. And that's what makes me a chiquiado because I'm a little bit of all of them in me. And I feel like up until today, it's a great feeling. But I got to say, it was also something that was really damaging me because all those years of me being babied, I grew up in a system where if you do A, B, C, you're going to get D. Meaning, like, you do good in school, you get a great job, you're a great employee, you would progress, and you would have everything you want. That was the whole lineage that we're taught as Latinos growing up. And you do it. A lot of us go through it and they make it. But a lot of us, guess what? Times change. The world changes. People change. Circumstances change. So many layers come into play and your life starts piling up as an adult. So it's kind of like scales, like a snake and like a turtle, putting it on you. And it's on you as you go through the journey to find out within yourself whether you want to be a victim or somebody that's going to do something about things that they don't understand, but they want to be in a better place. So I guess that's the journey that we take as being kids that were taught that you follow a system, you're going to do good, but then when the system falls, you're like lost, literally. Estás perdido en un pinche paro de agua y no sabes qué hacer. So ahí es donde viene
Is
los huevos para crecer. You have to do it by the cojones, as
and
they
it's
say.
true because it's like it's the way that I saw it. It's if you don't do it, no one else will. You know,
It takes a
and
lot,
it's funny,
Charlie, to
dude.
get to a level because most of us want to be babies all of our lives. Who doesn't want to be taken care of? But think about it, bro. Like really, really, like when you find out you had to make such amount of money for the rent, when you had to pay for this, when you had to pay for that, what was that feeling in you? What were you going through when you were going through that? When you were like, hey, cabrón, time to face the piper. ¿Qué sentiste? Were you afraid?
You know, and it's funny that you mentioned that because throughout the week I was just doing just research and just thinking about different things. And
Uh-huh.
one of the things that popped up that I remember growing up as a little kid was Peter Pan. Y me acordé de Peter Pan. That was Peter Pan said, "Don't grow up. It's a trap."
It is.
So I
It
mean,
is.
it is. It truly is. You know, he was right.
Yeah.
And I mean, and I started thinking, I was like, what is it that, as now that I'm old, or older, not old, but older, I'm 35.
Oh,
Now that I'm older,
sorry.
este, you know, a couple of things that I jotted down was you start to dread birthdays. You don't
Okay.
want to get older.
Yeah.
You know,
You don't wanna. You don't wanna think about that number. Do you think that happens most to guys or to girls?
I think it impacts both, but I think it's more common in women than it is men.
Yeah.
You know, I don't mind my gray hair. You know, my barba está toda blanca casi. You know,
Yeah.
but then I see women
That's why
doing
you had
their
to say
hair
you were
and
35, so they wouldn't think you're 60 and you're about to get your Social Security. Great point, Charlie. Keep going.
oh, the other one is that I think a lot of people get hit by is your physical appearance. Your physical appearance deteriorates. You know,
Right.
now like you said, antes te comías una bag of Cheetos, y una soda, una Pepsi, whatever, and
Qué rico.
ooh, you're good, you're solid,
Dude,
yeah.
you know what I missed
Ahora
the
ya,
most when I was younger, when the paletero would come by my neighborhood over there in Boyle Heights,
ooh,
where I grew up. It's the nachos with nacho cheese on flaming hots.
not just, oh man,
Now I eat it.
man,
Where's the antacid, cabrón?
el omeprazol para las
Yeah,
agruras.
yeah, it's crazy, dude. But that is also part of growing, understanding your body,
It
understanding that
is.
you cannot party as much, understanding that as you go through life, you got to look at it like kind of like a gas gauge. Starts here and then goes like this, right? Well, kind of like that. Your life goes like that. And what people tell you is true. All the stereotypes when they say, I've been through it, trust me. You don't understand it till you go through it. And then you're like, yeah, whatever, this was crazy. But once you go through it, you're like, oh, ah,
Oh, that's what they mean.
ah. The only thing that I can say if I was looking back at my old self is like, try to not be so innocent. Try to be not so innocent with the wrong people. Try to have that gut feeling that I had as a little kid and that I stopped having because I was trained and I guess educated in a system where it's a doctrine of understanding logical stuff, but like I mentioned, the world is not the same anymore. Ya ha cambiado mucho. The world is ever changing and today more than ever. Excuse me. With that being said, it's a different playing field. We are now in a generation where we're survivors. You have to provide by any means, especially now that we're going through this crisis. Jobs are lost. People have to improvise. They have to be something different. They have to be maybe a handyman. They have to be somebody selling apples with chili. I was doing that. Somebody that learns a different skill. If you don't change, then you're going to be hit with dying in the survival of the fittest mindset because life, you have to
Yep.
evolve, Charlie. It's about learning, que no? Eso es lo que yo he aprendido, at least.
No, and that is, I think, there's no real secret. It's more of a learning process, you know.
Right.
Um, and going back to the stereotype and your parents and stuff, and another thing, you know, there's I think it's more of a system thing where you hit a certain age, and if you're not married or you don't have a girlfriend, te empiezan a dar lata. Y la novia, ¿dónde está la novia? ¿Dónde está el novio? ¿Para cuándo los
You're like,
niños? You
well,
know?
you know what? I'm ugly here in LA, but I'm going to go to Mexico and over there I'm going to be cute because I got dollars and I'll get one from over there. I'll bring her here. then she'll realize that I'm not that guy, and she'll leave me, and I'll be heartbroken again. But I at least got married and divorced. Nah, no, just kidding.
But we fall under that
Yeah.
little, I guess, pressure. I don't know.
It is. It is. But I guess breaking through those layers, the only way that I can explain it up until the level that I'm at right now, as far as learning and being a little bit wiser about life, is that you have to break yourself. You have to really be disappointed. You're gonna find out that a lot of the fantasies that you were told as a kid are not true. You're gonna find out that it really is a cruel world, that there's really bad people out there, and that not everybody's good. But you're also gonna find out that those good that are out there, just like you, if you feel good. But you just got to navigate the waters a little bit different now, because it's a crazy world, man. Look at every part of the world. It's going through something crazy, but we still want to kind of like still push the envelope to say that, you know what, we're running in a car with the gas is like this, the pump sometimes comes and goes, but we're still want to think that we're living in a perfect world. But when in reality, you look, like I said, Mexico is going through a civil war because of drug wars. Why? Because of demand here. And that's something we have no control over. That's just a monster on its own, and so many layers to that. But you got political unrest here, Central America. You have weather patterns changing. So many different layers, Charlie, that I think right now, if you're not super stressed, you're not an adult. Simple as that.
It's true. Yeah. And that's, you nailed it right there. Each person handles stress their own little way. I might show it in a different way. You might show it in a different one. But if you don't have, and I'm to that point where if you're not stressing, you're not an adult. I'm glad that my children are small right now at this point of time, where all this craziness is happening, because all they know is I can't go out or I can't do this because I could get sick.
It's so sad. Like this morning, I opened up Facebook and I saw a video of some kids in China, and they were all little kids. There must have been two to four, and they were all wearing masks. And it said, the title of the video said, "Today's Times," and they would be eating, but then they would right away have the urge and the instinct to bring back their mask. And if their parents would take it off, they would cry because they would want it back. Why? Because they know what's going on. I know your kids know. My kid knows. They know it. They know that it's survival, because instinctively, they know that if they don't put it on, something bad can happen to them. Because that's probably initially what the mom told them, or the dad. You know what? Protect yourself. Put this on because something can hurt you. Because you got to be realistic. And I think today, and I think these times more than anything, have created that perfect unrestful platform of survival, but at the same time of being real with one another. You mentioned earlier about that law that's being passed around the world where 4-year-olds can now, it's okay for them to, to touch themselves. Yeah. And you know what? Some people are open to it and others are not. And that's where the world is different and unique, but we got to respect, I think, innocence to a certain degree, but we also got to create a transitional point in between where we differentiate this. And it's not just college, because college is like an extension of high school. Yeah, it does teach you a lot, but it doesn't give you the life skills. How to manage your books. And it's not, I know it's your own responsibility, and now the tools are out there to do it, but it should be implemented to bring different individuals how to manage your money, how to manage life, how to manage a house. But we live in a world where it's so divided, where people, I'm not going to tell this fool how to do it. He can do it on his own, and let him do it, and da-da-da.
It's so systematic. Yeah, it's so systematic.
Divide and conquer, baby.
That's it. And one of the things I jotted down was actually that. I would have wished that in high school, or even they would have shown me how to file my taxes. I would have wished how to purchase a home, how to take care of my credit, And unfortunately, they don't teach you that. All they care about is the system where it's being formulated for somebody's agenda. Don't get me wrong, school is good, but everybody's being taught the same way.
Yeah.
As I went along throughout the week, I thought, why not open a school where you can actually teach children and help them find their
calling.
their gift. Yeah, they're calling their gift instead of
It would
just
be
teaching
nice.
everybody. It's like
But
it would,
you
and
know what?
because
When they let you do that, when you pay your dues and you go to college, that's when they say, okay, you learned enough to survive, cabron. You know your math, you know basic reading, you can survive and you can get at least a cheap job and you can contribute, right? That's what the system says, and that's great because we want to create people that follow the system. But like what we're saying is, let's create that in between that's gonna tell you this is reality. This is not, as you said, class is about doing
right.
this, class is about doing that. But more than anything, let's be real with one another and not hateful, but real. I think the moment we as human beings begin to understand that if we talk to each other with the truth, there shouldn't be any anger. It should just be like, this is the truth from.
Oh,
¿Me escuchas, Charlie? Can you hear me? You can hear me now? Okay, well, I'm not able to hear you. I'm not sure if it's a headphone. Let me try another one. I think it is because this one was kind of like weak. So, ¿me escuchas? ¿Tú me escuchas a mí? ¿Sí? Ok. Well, yo no me escucho ni madres, no escucho nada, so no sé en dónde me corté. ¿En qué fue lo último que me escuché? Deja chequeo acá los headphones para ver acá. A ver, ¿qué fue lo último que escuchaste de mi Charlie?
lo último que yo escuché fue de que te gastes en el sistema, que cómo estamos todos being systematic, cómo está yo hablando de cómo me gustaría que las escuelas enseñaran cosas de adultos, cómo hacer nuestros taxes, and then you went on to saying that, yeah, that's good, but we have to fall in where it's good for for people to follow the system, y ahí te cortaste.
Pinche sistema. Son estas pinches brujas inservibles que nos están tirando. Nah, no tiras. Cruz, cabronas. No, but no, it's crazy. Like, what I was saying is this, that we need to have a transition between being young and being an adult. Like you said, classes teaching us something, bringing us to the level of understanding. But we're living in a time that it's so different, it's so volatile. The waters move so much that now that the system is not teaching us, it's on us to really put ourselves into it and doing it. But we're not going to do it until we feel like we're ready. And sometimes that fear holds us back because we don't want to take action and really do the steps that are necessary to get to the next level. So what I said is, have the balls to do it, man. Figure it out. Look for it, because chances are in today's times, everybody's in the same boat. Everybody's trying to do something to survive. And most cannot give you a hand because they're in their own race. It's such a tough time. As you get older, you realize that as an adult, you have to do something to bring bread to your table. And if you don't do it, you're going to be lost. Why? Because you're going to be at a point where you could be homeless. You're not going to be able to provide for yourself. So you're part of the system, but at the same time, teach yourself to do what's passionate for you. For us, it's doing this show. For us, it's making us feel good. Thank our families that allow us to do this. And that was my point, like that we're following our passion, but it wasn't until life hit us with something that woke us up and made us feel like we're living in an eggshell of innocence, and realize that if you don't swim, you are gonna be sinking and you're gonna drown. So, la vida de adulto es ser una persona. This is my take on it. This is my phrase that I was gonna say when I got cut off by stupid camera. This stupid microphone. Not just kidding, but I was gonna say that. You know what? To me, being an adult is being a responsible person that takes care of business. You provide for your loved ones. You're a great person. You don't burn people. You're about your word. You have values, and hopefully, most of us feel in this kind of path. Because if we don't, then we're gonna be in a bad situation in a few years. Because we're living through an age where most people are babies. They cry about everything. Instead of working with each other, they kind of like go against each other, and that sucks because we're better than that. We're human beings that we're meant to evolve, and if you don't evolve and you want to stay in one level, how effed up is this journey called life for you? Get out of it. Don't be afraid. Don't be hateful. Get that anger out because you couldn't get your way, and look at another way and try to figure out a different way. If you're not going in the direction you were going, find a way to get to the next level, because maybe what you did in the past, say, it's not practical anymore, because the world changes all the time. Look at the people that made the CDs. They don't exist. Look at the people that would make what else? What can I say? Something has depleted. Any other product. But what I'm saying is this: be ready to change, to face the piper, and to have the guts to do it, and not be afraid of it, and put action into it. That's how you're going to become better. That's the only way you're going to become a better individual. Because if not, nobody's going to give you anything. You have to go out there and prove that you can do it, so they can give you the resources, because that's how the world works, with people that work with one another. Deep down, that's what everybody wants.
Let me piggyback on. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Let me go ahead and piggyback on something real quick. Right there, that you said, whatever you did in the past, go ahead and change it. And I'm gonna share something really personal to myself, and not a lot of people know this. Um, Not just what you did, also what you didn't do. Let go, so you can go ahead and open a new door and go through. Yeah, absolutely, dude. I was a ninth grader. I was a ninth grader in high school. Not a lot of people know this. I'm a musician. I'm a drummer. I had the awesome opportunity. I played in 4 different bands in high school, including the marching band, rock band, and whatnot.
Shut up.
Yes, and one of those, our music teacher, Mr. Solotov, amazing teacher,
This one time
amazing
at band
music
camp?
teacher. No, that's a different movie.
You were
Long
teacher's
story
pet and
short,
what? Nah, just kidding.
no, actually, I was actually the opposite, but I actually proved him wrong, to the point where he wanted to sign us for a record deal. Um, at that time, my parents weren't for it, because the whole mentality where los rockeros son drogadictos, on this and that, and
And what happened to
mujeriegos and
those
da da
guys? Are they
da.
still around?
One passed away.
Oh, man.
2 of them are still playing in 2 big bands.
Yeah.
But to this, I couldn't forgive my parents because they didn't sign that permission slip.
Wow.
I couldn't, and that held me back forever, dude.
Man.
To be honest with you, the minute and to this, I don't forget because I want to be supportive of my
Right.
kids when they want to do something, but the minute I let it go, and the minute I forgave my parents for not allowing me to do something for my own good, I guess you could say at that point I was
They wanted you
immature
to
and I
be
wanted it my way.
but they wanted you to be in the
Yes.
good path, but that was the only way they knew. And that's another big item in our culture that we're living,
Yeah.
us, the bilingual culture, the bicultural individuals, we're living in two worlds, and that is very hard to digest because we don't even have our own world because we're not accepted by the Spanish speakers 100% or los que hablan inglés 100%, you know? So we're like in
Right.
between, but that is beautiful because we are our own kind, but at the same time, it is hard because no te entienden. Pero como tú dijiste, it happened for a reason. And the way that I visualize this is like
Yep.
it prepare you for today because they wanted the best for you, but who knew? Who knows if it was going to be the best? But it was because
And that
you're
was what I
here
was.
now, right?
Yeah.
But lo que te
That
puedo
was what I
decir
was
es de
going
que
to.
why don't you become a higher drummer? Like put yourself out there. I play for gigs and go help bands out and dude, you never know. You might be the guy that they're like, pinche drummer de Maná se enfermó. Entra Charlie.
Well,
Charlie,
you know
pinche
what?
Charlie.
That's what it actually led to.
No
That's what
mames.
it actually led to. I played with the different bands. I've opened for a couple of bands,
Nice.
different venues,
Right.
but that's what it led to. That's what I was going to. Where if that didn't happen for me, it kind of pushed me to say, you know what? All right, you won't sign it, fine. I'll go to do it this other way. I've played. We were, and that's a different topic, but we were being promoted by Vampiro, the ex guitar player
Mames.
from Ana, for a while for
Man.
the band I was playing with. But long
What was
story
the name of the
short,
band?
Mundo Vacío.
Mundo vacío ahora con ustedes, los cabrones que nomás gritan. No, were you guys one of those rockers or you guys were more like the Maná type?
It was Spanish rock. We weren't death metal,
Oh, okay,
which
okay.
and I like as
So,
well.
a ver, échate,
We were
échate
the poppy.
una lírica de que te sepas. I know you're not the lead singer, or were you?
I was not. I was the drummer.
Okay. Pero at that level, going back to the maturity topic, I think at that level you were mature enough to know that that could lead you to something bigger, ¿verdad?
Yes, absolutely.
Pero te dolió un chingo, es lo que estamos diciendo. So, it hurt you
It
that
hurt.
much.
Yeah, at that point, I was immature and I was pissed at my parents for the longest.
Right. But now you
Now that
understand
I'm
it, right?
older, yes, yes,
But you
that's what I'm
think,
going to.
but you think understanding it now as you get older, you understand it because there's no fucking choice. You have to take it, cabrón. Or
You have to digest it.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's no other choice. Let's be real with one another. I think the more
Yeah.
we talk to each other with truth and more of acceptance of each other's dialogue without getting offended, the more we can accept our own truth because I think we live in a society where it's still very sub-layer like cupcakes, you know, like I mean cakes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you have to be
Yeah.
formal, of course. That's education, that's formalities, but at the same time, it's also good to talk to somebody, whether it's rich or poor, and really be real with each other. I feel like when you talk to people on that level of being you, I think that
Sincere. Yeah.
dude, that's the best thing you can feel as an individual because you know, there's no pretense, there's no interés from that person towards your persona, you know, and that's
Yep.
hard to come by. But I think with time, as you become an adult, that's another aspect that I found out. You develop this like corazon intuition, kind of like radar, and right
Yeah.
here, experience Burns teaches you how to dissect good people versus users, and I think that's part of being mature. Where are you going to stand? Are you going to be a real person about your word, or are you going to be an immature person that's just going to be using others? So it's on you. Take responsibility, or be somebody that just eats off. But who knows, man? It's a tough topic because at the end of the day, this is my conclusion, Charlie. I feel like nobody's ever mature because the world is a chaotic moment in time, right? And we try to be, but the best thing to do is just be you and try to navigate it in a cool way. That's all I could say.
That's it. Just be you. That's the key point. Be yourself.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I always joke around with my wife, and I see other couples y parece que traen Parece que están chupando limón. And my wife's like, why you like them? Like, it's me. It's me, you know. You want me to be fake? I could be fake, you know.
Ujú,
But it's not about that, you know. It's and at work igual.
ujú.
De
Dice,
falta un
ven el
día de, hey
pinche
man, you
viejo que
weren't.
se parece a Don Francisco de enojón, míralo.
No, and that's the thing. It's actually the opposite. It's like, damn, dude, you weren't here. It was quiet. Okay, what is that supposed to mean? You know. But
Crazy.
it,
Concluding
you know,
thoughts, Charlie?
yeah,
What do you think
I
maturity is?
mean, maturity is being yourself, respecting one another, respecting each other's thoughts, and you know, you have to make priorities.
Mm-hmm.
Write down your priorities. What's important to you?
And do it
You
if you
know,
want to be
my
happy, right?
exactly.
Mm-hmm. Pues
You
thank
know,
you very much, Charlie. I know we can go on with this topic, and I think we should do
we
it
can.
and bring other people into it to see how they respond to it. But before we check up out of here, somebody sent us a message this past week regarding the topic. Do you have the email so you can give it to them, and then I'll read the message?
I do have the email. Let me get that for you. It is love note
Mm-hmm.
24/7 at gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
Once
Okay.
again, that's love note 247 at gmail.com.
This one's going out to Maria in Montebello. She said, creo que maduramos y nos hacemos más responsables cuando nuestros padres nos crían con mano dura. Bueno, no tan dura, pero que nos dan, no nos dan todo en la mano y no nos hacen inútiles. And this is Maria from Montebello. So big shout outs to her. She says that she's still living at home and she is about to retire from work. Hey, to each his own, right? I think
Which is
that's another level that some people would not agree, but I agree, and I say that it's maturity because it's somebody that decided to stay and support those individuals, put themselves before somebody else. They put their dreams, you put your dreams for somebody else. And I think most of us do that in life. We sacrifice so much, and that's part of being an adult, but that shouldn't discourage you from finding your happiness at the present because the past was another story. Right now, it's another game. You have different balls to play with, you have different elements. So use what you have around you and be happy. That's all I can say, Charlie. ¿Tú qué me puedes decir? Y ya me voy porque tengo que bañarme porque apesto.
no, that's it. You know, love yourself, love each other, love your neighbor. You know, smile. You know, a smile can make a big difference in one person's life.
Charlie, gracias por ser chingón. Thank you, as always. And
It's my pleasure. Likewise, brother.
God bless you. I want to do the show. I also got a message that they want to do a show on why did I leave radio. I want to bury that already. And I was thinking about doing it with Zoe, but pinche Zoe, he's working a lot and we haven't had a chance, but I definitely want to do that. But next week, do you have any ideas what you want to talk about or something that might come up to your mind?
Come out to my mind right on this specific second. I would love to talk about motivation and pushing forward. You're a big example of that, and I would love to touch that subject.
Cabrón, don't say that. Joe Austin is going to come and ask for some rights. I'm just kidding. No. Thank you, Charlie, for being so positive and for being that fuel that moves me sometimes when I try to be positive, but it's hard. But I found out that attitude is key in life, and that's what's going to get you through the adult phase because it doesn't get easier. It gets a little harder finding yourself, finding your road, finding who you are, finding who you want to be. It's that moment when you accept yourself and others accept you. Try it. Try to be you. It's beautiful. Charlie, gracias por ser tú conmigo, cabrón.
Hey, my pleasure, brother.
Hey.
Yes, I was right here, man.
Saludos a la familia, saludos a tus bebés, tu esposa y saludos
Igualmente,
a todos los que nos watchan.
saludos.
Y un pinche abrazo a pinche Frank from Miami, the guy that put this show together technically. Okay? Te cuida, Charlie.